Hey, when it comes to our websites, we all want to see more results and more conversions, more clicks, more traffic, and hopefully that results in actually more sales and more clients and more customers and donations. The problem is a lot of us have our websites running aimlessly in the background like a hamster spinning on a wheel. And there's a few different reasons this could happen. Number one could be, poor messaging. We have entire training videos that we've done in the past about our messaging recommendations for the homepage of your website, or it could be aesthetics and look and feel. And again, we've done training videos before about how to make your website look and feel more professional. But sometimes it's because you're not implementing the right website conversion tools on your website in the first place. So in this video, we're going to be walking through my top 5 recommendations for website conversion tools that you can implement today. Okay, imagine that you're shopping in a local downtown boutique and you're looking for a gift for somebody in your life. And you're kind of perusing the aisles, you're just kind of window shopping a little bit, and then you're about to walk out of the store. You can't see anything that you're really super interested in, and so you're about to leave, and as you get to the door, you put your hand on the doorknob, the business owner or the shopkeeper stops you in your tracks and says, hey, just so you know, we have a 10% off on all books, down this certain aisle. So then you're interested. You actually turn around, you go back to that certain aisle, you find a book that your loved one would actually very much enjoy, and you decide to purchase the book. You were about to leave, they were about to lose you as a customer, and the business owner saw you physically about to leave the store, and they were able to say something to change your mind. Now, doing this in an online context is a little bit different. One of the biggest recommendations that I would have to achieve something like this on your website is by instituting and implementing an exit intent pop-up. Now, there are a lot of different kinds of pop-ups that you can implement on your website. The most common kind is just a traditional pop-up. It's oftentimes triggered by somebody scrolling down a certain percentage of the page. So you scroll 50% down the homepage, and then all of a sudden the pop-up is triggered. It can also be triggered by a delay. So a 2-second delay or a 3-second delay on a certain page, and then the pop-up is triggered. An exit intent pop-up basically just means somebody is perusing your healthcare website or your lawn care website or your bookkeeping website or your marketing website. And as they are about to exit out because they're either, convinced that you're not the right fit for them or for some other reason, maybe you're too expensive, then you're about to exit out. And then all of a sudden, before they can actually click the X icon in the tab, there's a pop-up that is triggered that says, hey, just letting you know, 10% off of your first service or something like that. So it's something that is compelling enough for them to then want to actually pick up the conversation, book a call, or at least fill out a form for more information. Most website builders have the functionality to include pop-ups like this natively, but if they don't, you can easily install a plugin or use a third-party service to achieve this. So this would be the first recommendation that I would have if you actually care about getting more conversions out of your website. Institute and implement an exit intent pop-up. It is your chance to stop somebody before they leave your proverbial shop and then convince them and compel them to want to actually pick up the conversation. Okay, the next conversion strategy that I would recommend is to implement an announcement bar on the homepage of your website. My wife and I love going to different restaurants and trying different foods, and I am a sucker for the daily special. So if I'm going to a restaurant and I see on the menu that there is a particular dish or a particular meal that's offered, usually at a discount on a certain day of the week, then that's usually what I'm going to get. So the equivalent of this on your website is the announcement bar at the very top of your website. So this is your chance to say, hey, here's a special we're running. Here's a sale that's going on. Here's an event that we have coming up. And so there's a few different really great benefits of having an announcement bar on your website. Number one, it takes up very little vertical space. So it's not taking up an entire section for the event or for the discount or for the deal. Usually just a very small sliver at the very top of your website above your header. But the great thing about it is it's a global element. Because it's part of your header, it's going to show up on every single page of your website. So it's really just a great chance to give your website visitor, whether it be your leads or your clients or your donors, a chance to see this news flash of something that's usually time sensitive so that then they can decide if they want to be part of it or not. Okay, the next feature that I would recommend implementing on your website to increase conversions is a chat feature. So the simple fact is, if you were to walk into a dentist office or some professional service office and you have a question, there's likely going to be a team member or a business owner or a receptionist that you can actually have a dialogue with, ask your question, and get an answer to that question. But in the online world, it's a little bit different because you're not physically there to be able to answer questions that your website visitor might have. Now, this does not have to be the most expensive chat feature on the market. Normally, this is through a paid subscription. One that we've used in the past that we had great experience with was Tidio Chat, Tidio. But there's other ones out there as well. It does not have to use AI. It can. Usually those are a little bit more costly. But really what we're doing here is putting a chat feature in the very bottom right-hand corner of your homepage so that anybody, as soon as they have any sort of question, can ask a question and get an answer to that question. Of course, if you're training a chatbot using AI, then AI can learn your entire website, learn everything about your business, and then use artificial intelligence to then spit out an answer to your website visitor. Or if you don't want to lean into AI and you want to do it the more traditional way, you would basically create a certain set of frequently asked questions, and you would give the question and give the answer. That way, if somebody asks a variant of a very common question, then they would basically spit out the answer that you had already predetermined. And of course, my favorite facet of the chatbot is actually the live chat feature, either with me directly or somebody on my team. We've gotten lots and lots of really great leads and sales out of our website from our chatbot, simply because people have put in their name and their email address and then asked a question. And then I was able to, in real time answer them, or somebody on my team was able to answer their question as well. So it makes a really good personal touch. It kind of makes a human connection. But also the great part, of course, is that they're giving you their name and their email address, which you can then put into a funnel. They've contacted you, they have voluntarily given their contact information. So then you can put them into an automated email campaign to warm them up to the point where they eventually become a customer or a donor. And of course, one of the best parts about it is that it works while you sleep. So even if you're not able to answer the chat right away, somebody puts in their name, their email address, and they're able to ask the question, you could of course follow back up with them the next day. But regardless, you're giving the website visitor a chance to ask their question when they're ready to ask it. So even if they're asking the question at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. at night or something like that, then you can of course answer the question in the morning simply by looking at the chat log, getting their email address, and then answering them directly. So you're putting the ball in their court, giving them the opportunity to ask their questions when it's most convenient for them. Hey, we've all been in situations where we're trying to coordinate a meeting with somebody, and it's just a super arduous, cumbersome process, right? You're giving them your recommended hours or time slots or available days, and then they're coming back to you with an email kind of countering, saying, can you do 10 a.m. instead of 11 a.m.? And then you're just going back and forth, and it's super manual. Or you might even have an administrative team who is trying to do this for you. So you're paying them to do this kind of arduous task as well, which is taking up a lot of manpower and a lot of time. So the next tool that I would recommend implementing on your website, if you really want to get more conversions, is some sort of calendar scheduling application. We use Calendly, but there's lots of different options out there on the market. But essentially, this is embedded directly on your website, on the booking page or the Get Started page, or even on your homepage. And somebody can see right away, okay, this person is available on Tuesday at 10 a.m. They can click that time slot, put in their information, and book the meeting directly. And then, of course, the virtual meeting would then be scheduled to take place on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or whatever application you prefer to use. So it works with your calendar. It knows right away, these are the days that Brandon is not available, the days he is available. Here's the time slots that he's open to having people book meetings with him or not. There's a couple great things about this. Number one, it takes away the headache of the back and forth, arduous process of trying to pin down a good time slot to meet. But number two, it puts control in the website visitor's hands. They're actually the ones initiating. They're looking at your calendar. They're the ones picking the time slot. They feel like they have control, which is going to mean that there's a higher chance that they're going to actually show up to the meeting and not be a no-show. And then, of course, you can have it set up to where it automatically will send a reminder email to the person who booked the meeting 24 hours before the meeting, 30 minutes before the meeting, or whatever frequency makes the most sense for you. Okay, if you're really serious about conversions on your website, you actually want to get more names, get more email addresses, get more leads, customer sales, I would recommend strongly having some sort of lead generator on the homepage of your website. Here's the fact. You would not go up to a girl that you're interested in and ask her to marry you the day that she met you. You would date her, you would court her, you would spend months building trust and building the relationship and having experiences together. And then eventually you might propose and she might say yes. Well, it's no different when it comes to your website. It doesn't matter if you're selling products or services, if you're a coach or a marketing professional. You don't need to ask for the sale directly. You certainly can, but I would just say, don't expect somebody to just hear about you, just land on your website for the first time, and then right away decide to marry you or to make the commitment or to make the purchase or the donation. But they might be ready to make a micro commitment, which could be downloading a free PDF resource, a free checklist, a free course, basically something that you're offering for free in exchange for their name and their email address. And then they download it, they get great value. They see that you're reputable, that you have really great ideas. You're actually helping to solve their problem with that really good free PDF resource that you created. And then they trust you. So it gives a little bit of credibility to you and to the fact that you actually know what you're talking about. But then also they gave you their email address. So now you can put their name and their email address into an automated email marketing funnel. Now, this is where the dating part of the process takes place, or the courting part of the process. You're creating ongoing relationship with them over time because they're going to be getting an automated marketing email from you either once a week or once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks. So the frequency here depends on what you're actually selling them, your industry, your market, and then also just like you as a person, kind of what you feel comfortable with. But regardless, you're sending touch points to them over time, which then builds trust. They become familiar with you. They get to hear your voice and hear your ideas and hear how you're helping them and adding value in these emails over time, which would then result in them being more ready to actually say yes to the marriage, which is, of course, purchasing your coaching services or purchasing your lawn care package plan or to hire you as an accountant or a CPA or something like that. And so again, somebody might not be ready to make the big commitment on your website right away, but they might be ready to get started by making a micro commitment. So a lead generator can be a great way to kind of kick things off with your relationship with your website visitor. The next thing that I would recommend implementing on your website, if you're really serious about website conversions, is an intentional plan. We put together a completely free course called the Homepage Messaging Makeover. Basically, from the very top of a website all the way to the website's footer, we give you the blueprint and the outline for which sections we recommend including, what order to include them, and best practices along the way. If you want to get this completely free course, the Homepage Messaging Makeover, you can do so by going to ritchey-creative.com/makeover. Well, hopefully this was a helpful and beneficial video. Remember, you can't use out creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Stay creative, and we'll catch you next time.